So let's start with the killing of those 3 hostages by the Israeli Defense Forces. What do we know at this point about what occurred?
Well, over the last few days, there's been widespread consternation in this country as details of how these 3 men died have been confirmed by the Israeli military. They came out with their hands up in Shajia. This is in the northern part of the Gaza Strip. You're seeing pictures there of the 3 men, including the man who you mentioned there, Alon Simritz, who was buried over the weekend. They were waving a white flag. They were shirtless. 2 of them were killed immediately. One of them managed to escape. There were cries for help heard in Hebrew, which should have been a signal to the Israeli military on the ground that these could be hostages. Despite that, there was a burst of fire, according to an IDF official who was briefing reporters, and the 3rd individual was killed. And there was a building nearby that was located on which inscriptions were for help, I should say, were found. So there were several really clues that should have been taken seriously by the troops on the ground. The IDF says that this was a violation of the rules of engagement, and there have been reiterations now on the ground by some of the officials inside of the Gaza Strip to their troops, saying that no one waving a flag, certainly no one waving a flag who is shirtless, should be shot at, should be targeted, and that includes any Palestinian coming out in surrender. Savannah and Valerie, back to you. But yes, you can imagine a lot of anger there among ordinary Israelis at the news here that's been confirmed by the military and the government of this accidental killing.
Now, Hala, given that anger, what kind of pressure are Israeli officials facing to resume hostage negotiations in light of these deaths? Is Prime Minister Netanyahu willing to return to the table, and how is Hamas responding?
Immense pressure on this prime minister. He is very unpopular in this country. More than 80%, according to a poll from a few weeks ago, want him to step down. Though support for the war, it has to be reiterated, is still very high. I spoke to a source close to the negotiations. They are staying quite mum, but they're saying we're closer to an outcome than just a few days ago, which is not saying much because there had been really almost a complete breakdown of talks. But we are hearing reports that perhaps there's renewed momentum for talks. And we know, of course, that the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is on a visit. We expect him to address reporters a little bit later with the Prime Minister. So we'll bring you the latest on that as well.
Also, Hala, meanwhile, the United Nations is continually warning about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, saying it is reaching a breaking point. Hospitals are now under siege as thousands look for medical treatment for injuries sustained during bombings. Also, we know disease is spreading. What are you hearing from the doctors working inside these hospitals? What is it like just on the ground there and to try to be helping other people?
Well, the hospital system in the north has all but collapsed, and Palestinians on the ground are telling us that some hospitals have been surrounded and raided. They're pretty much not operational. In the south, there is a lot of pressure on the medical team, some of whom have relocated from the north to the south to try to treat people with injuries. We spoke, the NBC News crew on the ground spoke to one doctor in Rafah, and this is how she described her job of trying to tend to those with wounds and injuries on a daily basis. Listen.
The situation cannot even be described. Every second in this war is difficult. It's very difficult and heavy on my heart. But when I have to deal with a child or a baby without their family, without their father and mother, I feel heavy-hearted and restricted.
Well, this, as we're hearing from the Ministry of Health, run by Hamas, that almost 19,000 Palestinians have died since October 7th. Back to you.
All right, Hala, thank you very much for your reporting.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.